what's up? It's tier list time. So I was supposed to do this video with Genos and Taipal. We did it a while ago. The audio was fucked. Didn't happen. Then we're supposed to redo it, but then Taipal quit, Genos quit, everyone quit. So I'm alone. We're also gonna do it. We're gonna go straight into it. No fluff, no blabbering. First, I put the SRs in. It's not gonna move. Those are shit, but less. Usually you can use them on BOT to break, I guess. That's about it. And then you got Ana, which is pretty good. She's basically a mini Choi. Next up, we got Akari. Akari is honestly not even the best light support, which kind of sucks for her. And because of this, you never really use her. So she goes in good. I only use her on what? Light pod. It's kind of low. Disclaimer though, the tier list is based on the game's current state. So obviously, if a hunter is good but not used, he's not gonna be above. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory. Like, even if the hunter is good, if it's not used, there's no point. See what I mean? So yeah. Alright, next up we got Alicia. Alicia is basically my point where she is not bad, she is just not used. And on top of that, most bosses have a freeze resistance, so yeah. Like I said, she goes in good, because technically, she's not bad. Realistically, you don't use her. Light bike, pretty much the same thing as Akari. There's better than him, and you barely use him anywhere, if not nowhere. So yeah, he goes in usable / decent. He had his time at some point, but now it's kind of gone. So I guess that's where he belongs. Beast bike, I would say, is the same thing. Like, it's usable. Are you really gonna use him? Like, he has a good damage output, but you don't really have anywhere you really want to use him. Then we got Libora. It never really gets old, to be honest. Like, there's always somewhere you use her. It's pretty cool. She goes in very good in my opinion, obviously. Excellent, she's maybe a bit shy from it, because excellent is kind of like carrying the team too at some point, whereas Libora is really just a support to make you deal more damage. Realistically, you only use her on pod and the guild boss, which already is pretty good, but she's not really used in any fight you use your hunters on. So yeah, I guess that there's that. Cha is in a tough spot, just like last time on my last tier list. The fact that obviously there's Thomas, she's not the main light DPS anymore. She's still decent, you can still use her on a lot of things. So just because of that, she goes in very good. I do think she's less good than Libora at the moment, but that could change, I guess. Inside of a tier, it doesn't really matter what the order is. Like, don't try to see that Akari is way better than Alicia and shit. It's pretty much the same. Also, same thing. If, let's say, you would put Libora here and not in very good, it's about the same. Like, just one tier difference is the same. But obviously, if you put someone in meh and I put them in broken, you might want to reconsider your choice. Obviously, I'm not a god. I don't own the universal truth, but I mean, yeah, it's just my own opinion. You can just take it with a grain of salt, and you can disagree with me, comment it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Charlotte is the same as Alicia for me. She is good, she's very good as a hunter, but you never use her, so what's the point? Like, I'm taking this tier list as in, if you look at it, who do you want to get? Like, let's say you were given a random SSR, how happy would you be on a scale of 1 to 10? Like 1 here, 10 here, like. And honestly, I wouldn't really be happy of getting Charlotte at this point. So yeah. Then we got Esso, which I didn't make a vid about, at least not a tier list vid about, because obviously it was the video with Taipal and Genos, and it kind of fucked up. So I didn't get to talk about her, and I think she's the reason the fire team is that good. And just because of this, she goes in broken. She's a breaker, she gives a crazy support. She made Yu Hyun basically what she was before Kanae, and in my opinion, she's one of the reasons Kanae is that good, which we will get to in a bit. So she's broken, she's almost mandatory for Deimos. You can run Emma probably, but it's still gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass. You can run the light team obviously, but still, she is miles better. Go Gun-hee, the second best breaker in the game now, because SL exists. Nonetheless, he's excellent. He's mandatory for the light team, honestly. He has a good support for the light team, as well as being a breaker. He breaks good. Very good damage for a breaker. Highest damage, I think, for a breaker. So, Obviously, not much to tell you about him. He's just excellent. And then we get to Yoo Soo-hyun. Before Kanae's update, we had her in Broken. And after Kanae's update, I still have her in Broken. Let me explain. In my opinion, she is as good, if not better, than Kanae for Wobble. And if you're better than her for Deimos, I think you also deserve Broken. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, she is just broken, in my opinion. Like, you don't need Kanae unless you want to do Guild Boss. Kanae is still very good and broken, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Yoo Soo-hyun is just as good. She just has that Guild Boss minus. Like, she's not as good on Guild Boss, obviously. You can still run her, and she's not terrible, but obviously she's not as good as Kanae is. But nonetheless, I think she's broken, and she deserves to be there. And we get to Maylin. Maylin is just... So let's say Maylin is just used in the water team, she goes there, but the fact that she is also used as a support for the Song Jinwoo fights, she goes up 1 rank. That's the only reason. Otherwise, she would be next to her best friend Alicia. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Then we get to Mireille, and Mireille had her play rate drop by a lot, obviously, the last month, because there is nowhere you really want to use her. And because of this, I kind of want to put her in very good. You can still run her on Guild Boss, you can still run her on Pod. On Deimos, you can forget about it for sure. And I would put her in excellent if it was just me, but I feel like we really don't use her, so I don't see really the point. Other than that, she's just a great hunter in general, but for sure you don't really use her, so yeah. And then Choi, like I said, Ana is the mini Choi. Choi is the real one, obviously. He is the DPS that was not really a DPS and now is basically a support, but still one of the best ones. So in my opinion, he was right next to Libora. They're pretty similar. I just like Choi a bit more. He has more damage output. And yeah, I think Choi is just crazy. Staple for Pod, staple for Guild Boss. You can use her on Deimos as well. So yeah, definitely very good. Maybe like the best one in very good so far. It could be debatable. Thomas, unlike his haters would like to make you believe, he is still broken. Do I think that Thomas is not the best hunter in the game anymore? No. Yeah, you expected me to say yes. No, I actually think that alone, as a standalone, Thomas is the best hunter ever. But obviously his team makes it that he's not really the best team. Light team is the second best team for sure. And I think the reason for that is basically that Guggen, he's not as good as Essel, and that Min, which is the best support you can run for light team, is not as good as Gina. That's the only reason in my opinion. So yeah, obviously he still goes in broken because you can still use him everywhere. You still use him everywhere and he's still like super fucking good. He's just not as good as the two fire DPSs because the fire team is just better than the light team. That's the reason. Then we get to Seo, which goes in meh. She's not going in, you ain't using her, but less bad just because she has SSR stats. Otherwise, she can go deep down here. She is dog shit. Dongsu gets the same treatment. He is dog shit. I like him a lot. He's my goat, but bro, yeah, it's time to let go, bro. Like, he had his 2 weeks of shining time during the simulation gate bug. That's about it. So yeah. Next, we got Emma. Emma went from beginning of the game being broken / excellent to now being just usable / decent. There is nowhere you use her except of BOTC, which is, in my opinion, not enough of a reason to use her. She's not the best firebreaker anymore. She's just not there. She's just as good as Pike is, in my opinion. You can use on Butsy, so I guess she goes there. But outside of that, there's not really much to tell you about Emma. Then we get to Harper. Harper is just the same thing as Charlotte. Very good, but you don't use her. So what's the point, really? It hurts because Dark Team is pretty cool. I like Dark Team. It's just nothing to use them on. If one day we have Dark content, they could go up there. But for now, nothing to really do. And then on to Lim. Lim just goes in meh as well. He's dog shit. Never was used except for one BOT, which is the Hobgoblin Hunter. Back then, he's just shit. And at the moment, he is shit. So he deserves to be in meh. Then we get on to Gina. Gina goes in excellent. she is the best support in my opinion. So let's say Gina was Wind, she would be the best Wind support. If Gina was Light, she would be the best Light support. She is the best support for the given element she boosts. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, as a universal hunter and support, she's not the best one. As a targeted element, so like for fire, she is by far the best support for one given element. And because of this, she goes in excellent. She makes the fire team even better than it already is. So that's just how it is. Jincho, just like any other team that fell out of the meta, he's good. You just have nowhere to use him. And in my opinion, he's going to be replaced by Goto. In my opinion, Goto is going to be a windbreaker. But yeah, that's about it. And then the new queen, Kanae. Obviously, you saw it coming. She goes in broken. So she's basically better than Suhyun for Guild Boss and Pod, but a bit worse for the rest. If you're a new player, she's not really who you want to go for, because for early game, she's like dog shit. Because she has actual mana problems. So obviously, this is not really like a staple for every game mode. And for WOBL, Yu So-hyun is by far better. Like, if you say that Kanae is better, you're just lying to yourself and to everyone, so don't say that. Doesn't make Kanae less good, it's just that So-hyun is built for WOBL. Really, like, built for Deimos. The built-in death pen just makes it too good. So yeah. Hansemi would be in good if she wasn't used for Guild Boss. And because of Guild Boss, she goes in very good. But other than that, as a hunter herself, she is dog shit. But I mean, she gives mana, so that kind of saves her. And then we get on to Min, the best support for the light team, one of the best universal support. So obviously, I think that's safe to say that he goes in very good as well. Good for Song Jinwoo fights, nothing much to say, very good. And then we get on to Ayla, which is excellent, the best universal support by far, used with on Song Jinwoo fights. You can use her in any team. You can use her in Guild Boss, everything, pod. Yeah, she's just too good. Really, she's just too good. And I think that's how we're gonna make it look. I'm trying to see if I want to change anything, but I don't think so. I guess I don't want to put her down one just because Kanae just replace her in Guild Boss and pod, because I think she's the best for Deimos. So just because of that, I want to put it in broken. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Mirai could be debatable between excellent and very good. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd be happy to hear you guys. And make sure you like, make sure you support me on the Netmarble program. I got new codes. I got new codes coming. There's 3 new codes actually coming. So make sure you do that. And I will see you guys in my next one. See ya.